The following program is the work of broadcast students from the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland which were produced over the past week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their instructors.
Today on BCIT magazine, BCRCMP faces abuse allegations. High daycare rates are driving some families out of town. And West End residents are concerned about new development in their area. Hello and welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Virginia McConkey.
And I'm Kaylee Miller. BCIT President Don Wright has resigned to take the job of Deputy Minister and Head of the Civil Service for the BC NDP party if they win the election.
NDP leader Adrian Dix says Wright was his first choice. Dix says the move is necessary to implement the first parts of the NDP party platform. Some BCIT students and employees are surprised about the resignation, not only because of the unusual timing, but because Wright previously worked for the Liberals.
But I didn't think he'd go to the NDP. That is quite surprising, for sure.
It's not very, I haven't heard of it before. It's not very common to me for someone from school to go straight to be a politician, so.
Sure, it's fitting, but I wouldn't expect him to quit and join a political party.
It's very unusual for a party leader to fill a government job several months before an election.
RCMP officers are accused of abusing Aboriginal women and girls in northern BC. The alleged incidents were uncovered as part of a broader investigation into the missing and murdered Aboriginal women along BC's Highway 16, the so-called Highway of Tears. Jen Bailey has a response from RCMP.
A report from the Human Rights Watch released this week claims Mounties are not doing enough to protect Native women and girls in northern BC. RCMP Chief Superintendent Janice Armstrong issued this statement in response.
The RCMP takes the allegations enclosed in the Human Rights Watch report very seriously.
The report also contains unproven allegations by some women and girls who say they were physically or sexually abused by police officers.
It's very important that we get to the bottom of that. These are serious allegations. And quite frankly, if our members have engaged in any of these allegations, then they need to be held accountable.
Armstrong says that Mounties were alerted to the allegations 5 months ago, but that they were having trouble investigating the complaints.
It's not fair to the victims that that information is not investigated. It's not fair to the RCMP to have those allegations hanging out there. So the report is very troubling. It's concerning. And as I said, I think at this point, based on what I've seen, there's some investigation that needs to occur.
RCMP say they will meet with the Human Rights Watch in the coming days to discuss the report, which includes several recommendations for government and police, including safeguards for Native women in the north. Jen Bailey in Surrey for BCIT Magazine.
3,000 families signed postcards asking the BC government for more affordable daycare. Amber Rockcliffe spoke with one local family who says costs here are so high, they're moving to Alberta.
If anyone knows about raising a child in Vancouver, it's Ari Wayman. The mother of 4 has worked hard to make ends meet for her kids, but she'll soon be moving her family to Alberta. She says one of the deciding factors was the cost of childcare there.
I've looked at childcare positions there and putting my children into childcare, and everything is a lot lower than it is in BC.
BCGEU representatives say childcare costs an average of $9,000 per year for a 2-year-old in Canada. In Vancouver, it's much higher at $14,000.
Even with child tax benefits here are lower than they are in Alberta. So it doesn't help the families out in BC to have to pay childcare and not get some kind of subsidy that is above what they're getting now.
The BCGEU's Oliver Rolfs has helped childcare workers collect more than 3,000 signed postcards from BC families, asking the government to commit to implementing a new system of affordable, accessible, publicly funded early care and learning.
In BC, women with kids under 15 have the lowest participation rate in the labor force in all of Canada. And quite often it's very simply because it's not worthwhile going back to work.
Many local advocates say a $10 a day childcare plan, modeled on Quebec's $7 a day plan, would encourage more parents to go back to the workforce. They say it would be a key driver of economic growth. The BCGEU has put on a series of short commercials online calling for a government action. They highlight how local families simply can't afford to have children. The 3,000 postcards are being sent to the BC Liberal Party, and the BCGEU expects the issue to get more heated as our provincial election approaches. Amber Rockcliffe in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Coquitlam Search and Rescue needs a new rope and harness kit before it can conduct any more helicopter rescues. The team says they can't wait any longer. My co-anchor Virginia McConkey has this story.
We strap it on to make sure it's on nice and secure.
As the search manager for Coquitlam Search and Rescue, Al Hurley relies on rescue gear like this to help save lives. But missing from the back of the truck is a much-needed helicopter external transportation kit.
Well, our safety for our own team members and the subjects is at risk.
The Helicopter External Transportation Kit, or HETS, is a special rope and harness that attaches underneath a rescue helicopter. It allows search and rescue teams to go into extreme wilderness conditions that might otherwise be very challenging to rescue people from, a situation they're seeing more and more of.
We've noticed a real shift that with more people recreating in the outdoors summer and winter, we're getting call volumes in unusually, normally quiet times. Recently, we just had 6 calls within a week and a half.
The HETS is a really special tool we have because it saves time, and time saves lives.
With the helicopter and the long line, we can be fairly quick with it. If it had to be an extraction by ground, the risk goes through the roof for us, and the amount of hours it takes to get to injured teammates and subjects goes through the roof.
The Coquitlam Search and Rescue team has been certified to use the equipment since last summer, but they hope it will finally arrive to help save lives within the next couple of weeks. Virginia McConkey in Coquitlam for BCIT Magazine.
A redevelopment proposal for English Bay will be back in City Council this week. The plan would add more than 100 new rental units to the area, but some nearby residents are worried about how the plan will impact their neighborhood and home prices.
Remember that you can't bring your camera. Interesting.
When Karen Shillington moved to Vancouver, she was drawn to Beach Towers for its views and affordability. But a new plan to redevelop the building by adding 133 new apartments is causing her concern.
What I'm afraid will happen, we'll have these above market rent, brand new, nice rental units, and that's great. But these old units won't even be affordable. So we're taking 500 affordable units out of the mix.
Beach Towers is in one of the most desirable locations in the city, and that means these new apartments will be able to draw in higher rents, something that isn't sitting well with representatives from the West End Residents Association.
You know, I've got really mixed feelings. There's some great things about this particular proposal. It's going to have a diverse a variety of rental units, but the prime concern that we have in the West End Residents Association is affordability, and that these units are not necessarily priced at a rental rate that we can afford.
But it's not just apartment costs that are making residents unhappy.
It would just bring in way too many more people for the West End. We live here for the comfort of just being able to walk without being shoved down the sidewalk.
You know, we may have to fight for parking.
While developers say these new units won't drive up costs for current residents, many are also reacting to a new wave of development that has hit the area. And with a new community plan already underway, many like Shillington are hoping the city will listen to West End residents before making more changes to the area.
Well, I think the biggest issue is that the community has been shut out of the process. The more I hear about this project, the more confused I am actually about what really is going to happen.
The proposal is back in front of council on February 19th. Virginia McConkey in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, the BC Sports Hall of Fame aims to curb childhood obesity, and meet one special 4-year-old who is living with a rare disorder.
This is me. And my mom and dad. And my big brother Alex. And Jack. This is the day I learned that sandals got their name from sand. that jellyfish aren't made of jelly, that stars don't just come from the sky, that the ocean is bigger than all of us. This is the day we all got to forget I was sick. This was my wish.
Welcome back. Metro Vancouver continues to be ranked one of the most bike-friendly areas in the world.
Just this past week, North Vancouver announced over $500,000 in funding to build bike lanes connecting major cycling routes on the North Shore. Connor Danoon reports.
Construction has already begun here on Seymour Parkway, expanding the bike route to connect with the Ironworkers Bridge. This expansion is one of two major projects. On this map, the orange dotted line in the upper right corner is where Mount Seymour Parkway will see dedicated bike lanes on the south side of the bridge. It will connect to the Spirit Trail in purple. The second surrounds the Lonsdale Quay, where a 175-meter bike trail marked in orange in the lower left will link existing bike routes to the Seabus terminal. Lisa Parker expects it will be easier to get around North Vancouver and connect bikers to major transit hubs.
In the Lonsdale Quay area, we are bringing those different networks together. So the Spirit Trail is offering a connection to the Seabus terminal in addition to the existing on-road bike lanes in the area.
Close to the Lonsdale Quay at Obsession Bikes, Mike Grossnickel says the bike route expansion will also help people get into North Van.
Well, the Quay is great because it's so easy to the Seabus. Like, I actually live in Vancouver, and I come over here, and the only reason I work here is because it is so easy to the Seabus. And even if I want to commute, I can literally hop on the Seabus, hop onto a bike lane from the Seabus terminal, and ride all the way into Kerrisdale.
Construction around the quay is expected to begin later this summer, with all projects completed by spring of 2014. Connor Danoon in North Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Statistics Canada has found almost a third of Canadians aged 5 to 17 are overweight or obese. BC Sports Hall of Fame has been working hard to introduce children to strong, physically active local role models. As Amber Rockcliffe reports, those introductions are paying off.
Alexa Rollins is touring her little sister Thierry around the exhibits at the BC Sports Hall of Fame. They look at hundreds of medals won by athletes, yet they understand that sports are about more than just medals.
It helps me keep healthy.
It's Alexa and other young children like her that the staff here are trying to inspire.
We incorporate the stories and the manifestation of the athlete's journey through the trophies, through the uniforms, through the medals, to inspire kids to set a goal and to develop a plan and to achieve success on their own terms.
More and more school groups are touring the Hall of Fame every month, and many families around the Lower Mainland have realized it's a great place to take their children.
This generation's addiction to technology is a double-edged sword. It can both help children with future job skills, yet also lead to sedentary lifestyles.
But staff here believe that if children have the right role models, it can help set them up for a life of health and well-being.
And you hit one child and it resonates, then you know that you've had an impact in terms of inspiring them to go forth and do.
From track and field to games like shuffle puck and hockey, Alexa's favorite part is the swimming exhibit as she swims herself.
Because it's easy to do if you really know how to do it.
While childhood obesity statistics in Canada don't look good, these athletic role models continue to remind children that health means happiness.
Even faster or what? Okay.
Amber Rockcliffe in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Variety, the children's charity, recently held their 47th annual Show of Hearts telethon. It featured stories of inspiration from local families who have been helped by Variety. One of these families were the Thompsons. Their daughter has a rare disorder that may change the way you think about food. Jennifer Ferguson met this special family.
Life has been anything but normal for 4-year-old Megan Thompson. Since the day she was born, she has suffered from Prader-Willi syndrome, a disorder that affects many parts of the body, including muscle tone and mental ability. It also gives her such an intense craving for food, she will do almost anything to get it.
Did you go to the hairdresser the other day? Yeah.
Cindy Thompson is Megan's mother. She says people with this disorder face serious challenges.
They could eat and eat and eat, be morbidly obese, and if they ate too much, they could rupture their stomach and die. So, and there's been cases of that happening. So she has to be monitored all the time, 24/7, make sure she doesn't eat any non-edible items, like soap, which she's done, forage in the garbage, which she's done. We put a lock on our fridge to prevent her from getting into the fridge and that if we are either in the washroom or in the morning, early in the morning.
Carla Jones is the director of marketing for Variety, the children's charity. She helps BC families with children like Megan.
A special needs child can be a very expensive child. They need a lot of help, equipment, medical therapy throughout their lives. So we're there every step of the way.
What helped us with the walking was Variety. We applied for a grant to get a walker for Megan, and it made a world of a difference. It really sped up her being able to walk a lot sooner. It allowed her to be out in the community with other children, so she wasn't on the sidelines sitting on my lap. I'm in a wheelchair, but sitting on my lap or bum scooting and not being able to get anywhere. She could run around with the other children. If they were chasing a ball, she could chase the ball too.
Despite the obstacles ahead, Megan's family are staying positive about her future. Thompson says they have been through a lot, but they have each other and the support of charities like Variety. Jennifer Ferguson in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
Concussions, whether from fighting or crushing body checks, are a controversial issue in hockey. Research shows they're linked to a decline in brain health. A former NHL player in Niagara, Ontario, is the first to claim his degenerative disease is the result of years on the ice. Angela Jung has more.
Steve Ludzik looks like a healthy 51-year-old, but his brain scan would reveal a different story.
Do I say that I got Parkinson's disease from playing hockey, from getting my bell rung? I absolutely believe so. I absolutely believe it. And people that say, well, you can't prove it. Well, you can't prove to me that it didn't happen that way.
Ludzik was a scrappy forward for the Chicago Blackhawks in the 1980s. His playing days are immortalized on his trading card.
Meanwhile, behind the play, Ludzik going at it. Ludzik and Allison.
Tragically, the damage to his health is even more permanent.
You'd be blacked out for 3 or 4 seconds on the ice. You get back to the bench. You never said anything. You never squawked. You never said anything. You're scared for your job.
Nowadays, he enjoys the life of a retiree. He says he's never asked his doctor how advanced his disease is because he's afraid of the answer, and his medication hides any visual symptoms. But his forward junior hockey teammate says when it came to the ice, Ludzik was anything but afraid.
You know, there's a lot of players that'll do a lot of scoring, but when it comes to getting rough in the corners and playing that style of game, they'll shy away a little bit from that. Not Ludzik.
If you want to carry the puck and you want to be a good player, there's consequences.
And if things got ugly and somebody challenged him, he wasn't afraid to drop the gloves and take them on and have those fisticuffs.
As Ludzik watches these young players, he hopes their lives will turn out differently.
I'd like to see fighting stop.
But that's a change he doesn't see happening soon. Angela Jung in Niagara-on-the-Lake for BCIT Magazine.
Coming up next on BCIT Magazine, are you looking for that special someone? Virginia McConkey speaks to matchmaker Cherie Morgan, who has dating tips for you.
They say if you want a wish to come true, never tell anyone. But there is one wish that can make the difference between life and death. And this wish can only come true if you tell someone. Please, let your family know you want to be an organ donor.
Standby graphics, ready camera one.
If you want to experience the fast-paced world of news,
today on BCIT Magazine, striking,
make magic on a movie set,
frame,
and action. or bring your creative ideas to life. BCIT's hands-on training will get you started. BCIT Television and Video Production. Your possibilities start here.
Hi, I'm Angela Jung. For this week's Valentine's Day special, our community calendar will feature cheap hangout ideas for you and your sweetheart or for you and your friends. Pack a picnic and take a hike. There are many trails near Burnaby Mountain, and of course, hiking is free. Check out the BC Trails website to learn which trails are closest to you. Toonie Tuesdays are back at the Dolphin Theatre. Catch the latest blockbusters for only $2. Take a stroll along Burnaby Heights. This quaint neighborhood is filled with mom-and-pop boutiques, restaurants, and cafes. And after you're done, enjoy a cup of Java. That was this week's community calendar. I'm Angela Jung. Happy Valentine's Day.
Welcome back to BCIT Magazine. For many people, Valentine's Day is about spending time with a loved one, or if you don't have a significant other, maybe it's about finding that special someone. With tips on how to have a great Valentine's Day, my co-anchor Virginia McConkey joins us now with a matchmaker. Virginia?
Thanks, Kaylee. Cherie Morgan is dubbed the headhunter of your personal life, and she's helped many people meet their perfect match. So Cherie, what exactly is a matchmaker?
A matchmaker is somebody who works on a very personal, very private way with her clients. So it's not for somebody that wants to do online dating or use dating services. They only want to meet a few quality selected hand-chosen possible matches. They are not into meeting a ton at all.
So for somebody who is looking for that quality match, what's your number one tip for finding that special someone?
For anybody, no matter how they're looking for somebody, I always say be open-minded, be realistic. Don't have unrealistic expectations that, I mean, a wish list this big, honestly, nowadays is really just going to end up making you very unhappy, and you're not going to find a great person that way.
And do you find that you get a little bit more business, more people coming to you during the Valentine's season?
I would have to say that the thoughts of love is in the air, but it starts as of January. It doesn't really wait till February. As soon as that calendar turns over January 1st, it starts to get really busy. Maybe people's resolutions. They've gone through the holidays by themselves and they thought, wow, I don't want to spend the rest of my life alone.
And do you have a website that people can visit if they want a little bit more information on what you do?
Absolutely. My website is match-works.com, and anybody can check it out. Send me an email, give me a phone call. All my information is on the website.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Cherie, and back to you, Kaylee.
Thank you, Virginia, and thank you, Cherie, for coming in and sharing your insight. Well, today is Valentine's Day, and while it is usually a day associated with men giving chocolates and roses to their sweethearts, one Burnaby florist says more and more women are joining in the tradition. Jen Bailey has the story.
Some of us will spend hours thinking of gifts to give our significant others for Valentine's Day.
While chocolate and roses are traditional gifts, Adele Ray Florist says some people are taking a more modern approach this Valentine's Day.
While it's usually men who do the gift giving on Valentine's, shop owner Kathy Hansen says this year it's the other way around.
It's amazing how many we send out from girls to their boyfriends. And that's becoming more popular as the years have gone by. We've been doing more where the guys are getting them.
Although that's not the case for some people.
I think it's a guy thing, mostly. Girls usually just are expecting, I think, flowers and chocolate.
I kind of find it cheesy.
I am all for giving men flowers if they appreciate them, but it wouldn't be a good use of my money.
But if they change their minds, Adele Ray's will be ready for last-minute buyers.
I hope we're going to be really busy. Typically, we are really busy, and tends to be a little bit of last-minute thing that, you know, it all comes at once. But we're gearing up really good, and we've got lots of flowers, lots of beautiful roses.
Adele Ray's will be open late on Valentine's Day or until they run out of flowers. Jen Bailey in Burnaby for BCIT Magazine.
Well, a dinner and a movie is the usual date combo. New blockbusters are usually released on Fridays, but because of the special holiday, many of them are coming out today instead. Our film critic Jen Bailey joins us now with what's out in theaters. Jen?
Thanks very much, Kaylee. Yes, and you know what? There really is something for everyone this February 14th. So let's get started with the most obvious, the very romantic. Author Nicholas Sparks, the bane of boyfriends everywhere, returns this Valentine's Day with Safe Haven. Now it stars Julianne Hough as a woman with a mysterious past. She goes to a North Carolina town and meets a widower, Josh Duhamel. What follows is a bit of a mystery romance thriller, so that could be very interesting. If that's not your speed, well, Beautiful Creatures also makes its debut February 14th, and it's got sort of the fantasy kick to it. It's right on the heels of Warm Bodies and of the Twilight era, so that could be another very interesting pick. And if you don't want any of the romance, well, it's a good day to Die Hard. Bruce Willis is going to be in the latest installment of the Die Hard and being John McClane again. So those are my picks for Valentine's Day. Back to you.
Thanks, Jen. And here's another date idea, and this time it's a slam dunk. The Harlem Globetrotters have made a stop in Vancouver as part of their world tour. The event is called You Write the Rules, and that's because fans decide how the game is played.
Well, that sounds fun. Between basketball and movies, what do you think you're going to choose?
Definitely movies. I really want to see Safe Haven, and Julianne Hough she's a beauty, and I'd really like to see that movie. So how about you?
I like a good romantic movie for Valentine's Day, so I think I'm going to do the movie as well.
Good choice.
Go for that. So, good ways to spend Valentine's Day for both of us.
Yes, I agree.
If you have any questions or comments regarding this program, please visit us online at bcit-broadcast.com or bcitbroadcastnews.ca. And that's it for BCIT Magazine today. I'm Virginia McConkey.
And I'm Kaylee Miller. Thanks for joining us, and we leave you with some last-minute Valentine gift ideas.